Everyone is comparing between the latest models of ChatGPT, the latest model of Claude, OpenAI, Chinese model, etc. But that's the wrong way to look at it if you're a business owner. Your objective is not to use the latest model, it's to use the best model out there that can give you the edge over the market. They win by building better systems around AI for their business. In this video, I'm going to be going over 3 things. Firstly, how Claude is better than OpenAI, who should be using Claude and who should be using ChatGPT, and if you've considered moving out of OpenAI, here's how to do it. And just to give you a quick recap on who I am and what I do, my name is Fahad. I'm the founder of Automate My Biz. We're a company that's based in Dubai. We've been in this space for the last 6 years building AI-powered solutions so businesses can operate more efficiently. We worked with all the best guys out there, a bunch of influencers like these. With that being said, let's get into the video. Now, you may be wondering, Fahad, why do you say that Claude is better than OpenAI? Is it because you're a Claude partner? Are they paying you? Is Andrik Party paying you some money? Are they sugar daddying you? No, I wish they sugar daddied me. They have big money. But if you're watching this, Claude, please pay me, by the way. I can say so many more good things. But as a guy who's been using OpenAI since the day it was launched, I think a month or 2 after it was launched, I wanted to get my hands on this thing because I saw that, this AI, a new AI tool that can help you automate things much quicker just came up, and I've been building automations for 4 years at that point, 3 years. And I was like, hey, if this thing can think reasonably, I can automate things much quicker. So I had to use a VPN and a different bank account just to access, because I was in Saudi and Saudi Arabia didn't have access to OpenAI. So I've been using OpenAI since then. Now, why do I say Claude is better? So the thing is this, here, Claude is an ecosystem, while OpenAI feels more like a chatbot. You chat with OpenAI, but with Claude, you get so many more tools, you get so many more assets. What tools are you talking about, Fahad? I'll tell you. So Claude has ecosystem, and it's similar to what Apple has. Like there's MacBook, there is iPhone, Apple Watch. Android has the same thing, but the fact that everything integrates with everything so smoothly just makes your life so much easier. I used to be a big Apple hate guy, but now everything I have is Apple. But anyways, I'm going to explain you what that means, okay? So as you can see in here, so this is ChatGPT's chats and this is OpenClaw chats. It's both look the same thing, but as you can see, one of the first things I want to go over is Claude Designs. So Claude Design is a beautiful feature by Claude which allows you to create insanely good websites, landing pages, presentations, documents. I create my landing pages using these things. I create my maintenance report for these things. And not just that, there's a thing called they have a thing called design system. So design system is where you train the AI on what your design pattern is for your business, and everything it creates moving forward is following that instructions that you feed. And not just that, once you are done, right? Once you are done creating the design, you can export them as a Claude code. So Claude Code is the coding platform of Claude, which allows you to then publish or whatever software that you designed using Claude Design. Seamless integration, click on export to Claude Code, and boom, Claude Code now has the entire thing. So it just seamlessly goes from chats to Claude Designs to Claude Code in just one simple click. So that's the beauty of Claude. And the second thing is, if you want to build automations, before I move forward, one quick thing I want to say is that I'm going to attach a detailed video I made on Claude Designs and talking about how to use Claude Design, how to export, what are the best settings to use, how you can properly leverage them. I'll attach them here. Feel free to watch that video. Yeah, awesome. All right, coming back. So on top of the designs, the next thing it allows you to do is you can create beautiful automations. So if you go to the app, you can use Claude Cowork. Claude Cowork is a version of Claude that allows you to automate things, build custom apps, allow you to talk to different softwares much easily compared to Claude Code, which is meant for developers. And not just that, you can create simple automations using things like routines. So I have a routine that basically goes through all my calls. So this routine I set up to go over all my calls right after a sales call is done, go over the call and create the proposal as soon as the call is done. So I went from taking 3 days to create a proposal to 2 hours. How? So I'll show you one of the things I'm doing with the Claude routine here. So the whole process of me having to create this proposal takes about 2 to 3 hours, because firstly, I have to take the transcript from the call after the call is done. Once I take the transcript of the call, I put it to ChatGPT to get key points I discussed. Based on the key points, I create the project scope. Once I go back and forth with the AI until I make the perfect scope, then I send it back to Canva, put them in a proposal document, then I create it. 2 to 3 hours. I do it every other day, which is why an average proposal takes about 2 to 3 days. Do you know what happened when I started using Claude's automations? I use Claude routines to automatically go through all my calls as soon as the call is done and create a proposal scope. And you see this thing right here. Do you know how long it took for Claude to create the perfect scope for me? It took Claude about 2 minutes. And I had to go back and forth with the AI just for 15 minutes. That's it. It's 2 to 3 hours, 15 minutes. I got the perfect one. I sent the data back to Canva and boom, proposal was created in such a short jiffy time, because Claude Code's routines, which is Claude schedules, allows me to build one-off quick automations. So not only Claude has all these features, but Claude allows you to connect Claude to almost all the tools that you probably be using. And you can find all the tools that you can connect Claude directly to fetch information by clicking on the plus button, clicking on connectors, and click on manage connectors. It's going to show you all the connectors you have. And if you click on browse connectors, it's going to show you all the tools that it probably connects, and almost all the tools are in here. It has hundreds of tool connections that you can directly plug into to fetch information from, and the list just keeps going bigger and bigger every time. So you can connect to almost any tool. It can fetch information from any data out there. If you have a CRM, if you have Canva, if you have project management system like Notion, you can go to Notion and Claude is going to fetch information from there. OpenAI can do it, but it's very limited. The tools that you can access to is very limited, and it's a bit stupid. And not just that, and the thing that I found out as an AI developer who builds AI for businesses, I personally noticed that Claude is much better in terms of writing emails, in terms of giving presentations. Like for example, I'm going to show you this example, right? When I use OpenAI to tell me exactly what a process is, it gives me simple text, simple graphics. But when I ask Claude to explain things to me, Claude creates detailed illustrations of teaching everything. Like, Claude, where the were you when I was growing up? Bro, my ADHD ass would have learned so many things if Claude existed out there. But it is what it is. I turned out to be a retarded child at school. School failed me, but I became ranked as the top 100 automation engineers worldwide on Upwork. Ha! Take that, school. Okay, guys, school doesn't defy you. Alright. Now with that being said, now let's get to the second part of the video. So who should use Claude and who should use OpenAI? So who should use OpenAI? So if you're a beginner in the AI space, you've been using it only for the last 6 months or so, even if it's not 6 months, you just know how to go back and forth. That's it. You use it for emails, you use it for getting answers to certain questions, and that's it. I recommend sticking to OpenAI because Claude has a bit of a learning curve because it has so many tools out there, yeah? Like, when you have so many options, so many fancy tools, you're like, a kid, you want to press on all the buttons, it confuses you a bit. So you start spending less time on it. So use OpenAI if you're just a beginner, you're just getting started. Now let's get to the third section, that how do I migrate, Fahad, from OpenAI to Claude? So Claude itself created an entire detailed article on how you can migrate the whole thing. You don't have to watch the entire thing. I want to explain you what needs to be done. So there are technically 2 ways in which you can technically export data from OpenAI or any platforms to Claude. How do you do it? So technically, Claude has an instructions prompt. So Claude has a prompt. If you go to the article, this is the prompt that Claude has given you. I'm going to put this prompt in the description below, and all you have to do is just copy this, go to OpenAI. So all you have to do is copy this, go to OpenAI, paste this as an OpenAI, and what's going to happen is OpenAI is then going to take. So make sure when you paste this, you are using the latest model and the highest complex reasoning model, so you can give you the best response out there. So technically, all you're doing essentially is you're asking AI, like, hey, what are the things that you learned about me so far from all the XYZ months or years of talking to me, and summarize them in a JSON format, so you can send the data back to Claude or whatever AI model that we're about to use, which is Claude. So it's gonna spend time. It's gonna create that prompt instructions on you. Consider that as your instruction manual on who you are. So all you have to do is just copy these instructions. Copy these instructions, and then what I need you to do is go to Claude, click on the settings, go to Claude, click on settings, and click on capabilities, and in capabilities, click on start import and just paste them in here. So essentially similar to how OpenAI has a thing called personalization, where you tell custom instructions on who you are and AI uses this custom instructions on every chat. So just like that, this is essentially what Claude does. Claude has like a master file on you. It's going to use this instructions for every time it talks to that. So you put this in the memory. It has brief context on everything that you essentially, key things that you talked about across all the chats. Now that you've done all the instructions I told you, that is, you took this prompt, put it in OpenAI, took the response, put them back in here again. Most of you guys, 90% of you guys are good to go. I personally, someone who had 2 years of chats in OpenAI, I was good to go at this point because I didn't have any key stuff in there that I really have to bring in. All I need is just enough context. But some of you guys, you're like, what, Fahad, I have certain projects, I have certain items, I have certain chats where everything, my life is in there. I need all the context in this chat to be sent back to Claude. Okay, if that's the case, right, there is another option that you can use, which Claude didn't put in the article, but your boy is hooking you up, is by going to ChatGPT, click on here, go to settings, and if you go to data control, you can export your entire data, right? If you click on in here, it's going to export all your chats. All your chats are going to be sent to your Gmail in 24 hours. And then all you have to do is just send the data back to Claude. Now, Claude is fully familiar with what you know. Now, if you don't want to take that step, the quickest, you don't want to wait 24 hours. You don't want all the data to be there. You just want 1 or 2 chats. And you want it to be, you want it done in a jiffy. Now, all I need to do is I wanted to copy this prompt. Hey, export all the memories and context that you learned about me and what we did in this conversation, in this chat for this topic. So specify the topic. I'll give you an example. So for example, I have a chat. So I'll give you an example. So I have a chat called Proposal Scope 2.0. This is where I would give the call transcript for after the sales call so it can create the proposal. Now, when I was exporting things, when I was moving things to Claude, all I told this chat is a prompt like this. It gave me the exact format we've used, instructions, my wordings, examples from the latest stuff, and I just took that and put it in Claude, and it was good to go from then. Because I was using that, I just need the format on how things are. So if that's the case, just use this prompt and you're gonna get the output, paste the output, and tell Claude that, hey, give it a name. I always like to give it a name because it just performs a bit better. And you're like, hey, your proposal bot creating proposal scope points. Here's export of instructions from a previous model using, and just paste the stuff that you've learned from there, and that's it. You should be good to go. Now moving forward, every single thing that you know about Claude, every single thing that you know about OpenAI should be in here. So that's about it. You are good to go by now. So at this point, you've learned why Claude is better than OpenAI, who should use Claude and who should use OpenAI, and how you can go by exporting stuff from OpenAI into Claude. Now, the last thing I want to cover is the cons of OpenAI. So remember when I said that Claude is not paying me? This is what you get, Claude. So I'll tell you why, yeah? I love Claude more than anyone out there. But the thing is that Claude is insanely expensive. Claude is firstly insanely expensive, and the limit, when I say insanely expensive, is this is subscription, Fahad. That is true. But the thing is this, yeah, you can't get away with the same thing that you did with the $20 plan in OpenAI than you have in Claude. Because in Claude, right, all I do is I just go back and forth. After 5 or 6 questions, boom, the limit is done. They're like, Fahad, come back at 7:30 p.m. And do you know what happens when I do that? Stuff like this happens. Hey everyone, I just reached my Claude limit, so I thought I'll come to the nature and touch some grass. And grasses I've touched. I only go outside when Claude limit has been reached, and I tend to go outside a lot. I used to be white when I woke up. Look at me now, because I'm outside all the time because my limit is always there, because I always keep reaching the limit. But with OpenAI, that's not the case. I never, in 2 years of using this, maybe once or twice I only reach the limit. That's it. They're insanely effective in terms of understanding the context, and it doesn't blot up your limit. So I tend to use OpenAI from time to time for my quick stuff, but Claude is where I use the heavy duty stuff and automations and a bunch of other stuff. So that, and secondly, and most importantly, this is I have to say this before you guys import everything, is that I want you guys to look into how many people get banned from Claude. One of my devs got banned from Claude just randomly. I know a bunch of people out there who just randomly get banned from Claude for whatever reason, and their entire chat history is gone just like that. So that's one of the reasons why I don't fully like Claude, because you could get banned anytime. It hasn't happened to me. It happened to one of my devs, and I saw a bunch of examples on the internet out there of people getting banned from Claude randomly and losing all their data. So those are the two reasons I'm not a big fan of Claude. However, they've been treating me good. They made me a partner recently, so you know what, I can't say bad about them. But that's about it. That's the God's honest truth. You got everything out of me. Even if Claude paid me, I would have still said the same thing, because your boy was brought up with honor by your mom. Mama raised me right, have to say everything. So that's about it, guys. I'll be wrapping up this video. I hope you guys found what you're looking for, have better context on which ones to choose. You are good to go by now. You have all the information you need to make good decisions. And that's about it, guys. My name is Fahad. Absolute pleasure talking to you guys. Check out my other videos to learn more about Claude, OpenAI systems, and if that's something that you need assistance with in your business, I'm going to be attaching a link below so you can jump on a call with me or my team and see how exactly we can automate your business. Alright guys, I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day. Cheers. Bye-bye.